Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Cartoon DNA, the show where I take you to the cartoons and some anime that I grew up watching. And while doing so, I'm going to break down different parts of the show and how it affected me in my own life. My name is Daniel, and today we're going to be talking about Di- Digimon. It's Digimon. Now, I have a very big love for Digimon, and I have since I was a kid, wishing that one day I too would go to camp in the summer and wind up landing in a digital land where I get to have my own Digimonster, a digital companion, a digital friend. I love every Digimon series up until about Digimon Extros Wars or Digimon Fusion, I think it's called in America. Kind of fell off with that one. But the one series that has a special place in my heart is, of course, the one that started it all, Digimon Adventure. I should probably stop playing that. Digimon Adventure or Digimon Digital Monster was based off of the game Digital Monster, which was basically a Tamagotchi type virtual pet toy. The closest thing I ever had to one of those was my Mega Man Net Warrior PET, but that's for another episode. The anime was released by Toei Animation on Fuji TV in 1999, or more notably to me, Fox Kids in the US. Following the release of a short film of the same name, the series itself ran for 54 episodes, spawned 2 movies, and several subsequent series that took the entire franchise in 1,000 different directions. We're talking Digimon was a TV show and then came to life from a kid's drawing. We're talking kids turning into Digimon. We're talking dudes punching Digimon. It was wild. It's a great time. And boy, did I buy into that. The main protagonist in classic anime fashion had gigantic hair, very akin to Goku. He wore goggles on purpose for some stupid reason, and his Digimon was a yellow raptor that could shoot fireballs out of its mouth. Whether or not I was inspired to beg my parents for some swimming goggles and wear them constantly, that's neither here nor there. But one thing I can say is that it hurts your head. And if you're very unlucky like me at one point, you get like suction cup hickeys all over your forehead. It's not fun, not a good time. A couple years later, I finally realized that Ty wears like some type of sweatband and then goggles, which probably would have been a great idea to have as a kid. These characters that would come to be known as the Digidestined were diverse enough in personality and character, design and spirit to make Saturday mornings actually worth waking up for as a kid. Even to this day, I still want to sleep till noon, but you know, stuff has to happen. And damn, does that song get stuck in your head. I'm pretty sure I memorized that entire song before I memorized what to do when I got lost in a Walmart. Let's be real, it happened many times, and I was more than likely looking at Digimon toys. So, pretty on brand. Every one of these characters is so dope in their own unique way. Until Agumon digivolves again, and it's just embarrassing after that. With the exception of Patamon, who digivolves into a goddamn angel with a bow staff, who you know is going to completely rock your shit. The Digidestined getting ripped away from their world to get dropped into a terrifying digital hellscape managed to get by learning how to trust in one another and their newfound Digimon partners. At its core, Digimon was about togetherness and growth. So let's jump into how this show helped me grow personally. Let's start off with the characters. 8 kids that hardly even know each other are sent to this world with zero clue of how big of an impact they're actually going to make once this thing is over. Almost immediately after hitting the ground, this group is already fighting for their lives. The people that they meet along the way push them to become even better versions of themselves. One that was already inside of them the entire time, but just needed a bit of a nudge to get pushed up to the surface. As we go through the series, every Digidestined has a crest bestowed upon them, a symbol of their greatest trait that they could take into battle and help their Digimon evolve to a higher level. These traits are broken down through the lens of each Digidestined individually. To me, these crests are what represent each character in the best way. Each of these characters shows you the greatness that is held within someone when they are properly guided. Seeing how Tai is shown that true courage is about moving past your mistakes. Or Matt learning that friendship is about caring for someone without doing it in a way that takes away from yourself. These are huge, tremendously huge life lessons that kids need to learn. And Digimon did it in such a fantastic way for me. Moving on to art and animations. Most of my love for this series naturally has to go to the Digimon themselves. Their designs and their attacks are incredible, and sometimes, for some of the Digimon, really terrifying as a kid. Personally, I think the Digivolution animation is still one of the hypest sequences of all time. The Digimon themselves also blend in so perfectly with their environment. The watercolor esque backgrounds of mountain scenes and giant forests, and even Primary Village, the respawn point for all Digimon after they die, just stick in my brain to this day and make me want to learn the art style so badly. The series has always been a huge influence on my art since personally I love drawing creatures. I just can't draw a humanoid figure with hands for the life of me. But creatures were always so much easier. I've been drawing would-be Digimon since I was a child and still do to this day. One of my most recent projects for my digital art was drawing a Goonimon, which is from Digimon Frontier, the fourth installment of the series, which I did not have time to fit into here, but that also had a huge impact on me. My hope in the future is to make a cartoon of my own someday. And I can say with full confidence that Digimon is going to be a huge influence on that. You know, I could never understand why people didn't vibe with Digimon the way that I did. I was hooked on this show so quickly in my youth, and it's become a lifetime favorite of mine. Just the idea of being transported to a digital world as a kid and going on adventure after adventure just seemed amazing to me, especially as someone who loves technology as much as I do. Digimon was such a hugely central figure in my childhood. In its many forms, it was there for me during the good times and definitely during the bad times. It brought light and levity to my life when I needed it the most. And I've said before, cartoons just have a very special way of doing that. I can confidently say that I love Digimon a lot more than Pokemon. I get why people love Pokemon so much. The games are objectively better, it just has a better marketing scheme. The evolutions make sense, but hey, if I want my raptor to turn into a giant talking refrigerator, that's my prerogative. Honestly, sitting on the floor of my living room watching the same 4 episodes of Digimon that my dad recorded for me on VHS and just being completely engrossed by it. This is one of my earliest memories, and looking back on it, it definitely is one of the best. And after that, once I got Digimon the movie on VHS, the obsession only became more concrete. I can't count all the times that I've bonded with people over this movie throughout my life and how iconic it was just talking about this scene where Tai blows his whistle as hard as he can to wake up Greymon. I spent a lot of time rewatching that scene as a kid and trying to blow my whistle as hard as he could to see if I can keep up and actually do it if this happened in my life. Spoilers, I can't. It's what asthma does to you, I guess. Rewatching Digimon in high school and now in adulthood have given me such a different yet familiar experience each time. Much like the Digimon themselves, my love for the series never dies, just gets reborn for another adventure. The unique journey that the Digidestined go on appeals to me because of how they handle big topics like loss and adoption and even divorce. As a child of divorce, I didn't know it yet, but seeing that representation on screen and something that I love so much, thinking back on it, I never knew how much I appreciated that. They held your hand, but in the end, they never really tried to cover up what is actually happening to these kids. Like outside of nearly dying in the aforementioned digital hellscape that is the digital world, they have problems that everyone else experiences in everyday life. To add on to that, the idea of the Digidestin's crest and how it was executed has always been incredible to me. Showing these kids how they grow into their power and the fact that it comes from within themselves. Courage, friendship, love, knowledge, reliability, sincerity, light, and hope are all things that can be found within and nurtured. But they make it a point to show you that it's also something that can be found in others and should be sought out. I learned from Digimon that as you grow and form different relationships, these attributes show themselves in various ways. But most of all, Digimon inspired me to find these qualities within myself so that I can be the person that I wanted to be. I never knew how much this series impacted me until I actually started feeling what these symbols represent. It took a while, but I've actually made this bandana with the crest of courage on it. And it helped me a lot symbolically when I needed it. I even have it as my watch face to remind me every day when I go out to be courageous and what being courageous actually means. It doesn't necessarily mean being the first one to stand up to do something. In actuality, to me, it means being willing to stand up, being willing to admit my mistakes and move past them. To become the person that I want to be, I have to be willing to open myself that way. I don't know, it helps me a lot in life. It may sound weird and dumb to some people, but hey, even the Superman symbol gets me through the day sometimes. It's just what you make of it. It's the impact that these things have on us that we carry with us into the real world, into our lives. Some people see these things as childish or not making any sense to them, but the real idea behind it is that it's not for them, right? It's for yourself. And really, what's so wrong with that? Thank you all for stopping by for this episode of my cartoon DNA. I hope you enjoyed your time here as always. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to comment what makes up your cartoon DNA. Please tell me your stories. Tell me what these shows mean to you. I genuinely want to hear about them. That's why I'm sharing this with you. I want to know, and I want other people to know how much cartoons affect us and how much they get us through life, because it's a crazy adventure and we need all the help we can get. With all that being said, until next time, keep watching cartoons.